And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 503. Today is Wednesday, November 20th, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day between Monday and Friday. And as I've been warning the last few weeks, it's going to be a few days where the times will be changing, only because Bitcoin Zay is traveling, I'm running around. But make sure you click that notification bell next to the subscribe button, and you can make sure you get these emails and notifications whenever we do stream. Good morning, Shannon Allen, first on the stream. What's going on? A lot of great news. I mean, I was literally excited reading the news today because of so many things happening in the cryptocurrency space. Top story of the day: the United States Federal Reserve exploring digital dollar and its effect on monetary system. You don't say. IRS laughs off Coinbase's user surveillance conspiracy and tax reporting case. Gatehub crypto wallet data breach compromises passwords of 1.4 million users. Cryptocurrency forensics firms Elliptic ties 400 million in XRP to illicit activities. ShapeShift launches exchange token Fox for commission-free trading. And last but not least, online gaming platform lets gamers collect Bitcoin in first-person shooter game. A lot of great news going on, of course. But first, let's go ahead and look at those prices today. And for those watching, if I'm a little dark, that's because it has finally come. The rain has come to Southern California, unfortunately. We're not complaining here. I mean, it took to November 20th, literally 2 days ago. It was about 87, 88 degrees. So we had a good run, but it's starting to get gloomy again, and the rains are beginning. So we'll get our good 20 or 30 days for the whole year, and then we'll go on again. But we'll see. What's going on in crypto and culture? Everybody. Shannon Allen said XRP is a new dark coin. Hilarious. All right, as far as prices goes, Bitcoin, $8,114.36, with a small increase over the 24-hour clock, even though right now it's showing 0% on that. Probably just reset. I think I answered my own question about when these clocks reset. Ethereum's at $175.82, up 36.36%. XRP is at 25 cent flat, up 0.23%. Bitcoin Cash is at $242, up 1.05%. Litecoin's at $54.98, down 0.38%. And EOS is at $3.08, down 0.57%. So seemingly in the green for the most part, but as you can see, this is only by 0.2, 0.3. So not any real big percentage swing for crypto as we know it. But let's not waste any time. Let's get to the top story of the day. Listen, I had to change the title when I first titled this today's stream. I almost started as told ya. I mean, if you remember the article when we covered it, I think it was about a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago at this point, where we saw an article come out and I kept seeing the word CBDC, central bank digital currency. I kept seeing it in one article. I think it was like a Tuesday or Wednesday. And I saw it 10 times in the same article. For the first time in my life was the time I saw that buzzword. And as I said, from doing PR in the military and the government, this is the way they unroll new words and stuff for you to understand. That's what's going to happen next, basically. That was about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Literally now, a year and a half, 2 years later, the U.S. Federal Reserve is coming around saying, oh, we're actually looking at this digital dollar and see if this is something we can actually do. That is right. The United States Federal Reserve System is exploring the development of a central bank digital currency and what issues and risks it could potentially pose. Now, if you listened to me yesterday, you remember me saying this is one of the biggest threats to the cryptocurrency industry. And that's not only big companies, but governments and people who did not want to play ball all of a sudden coming back around like they invented the whole thing, right? And that is basically what we're going to see the Federal Reserve and the American government do. And by the way, let me remind you, the Federal Reserve is a private company. They're a private company. So if the Federal Reserve decides to make this central bank digital currency, it will be no different than any other guy out there with an ICO launching their coin saying, hey, you should go and use mine. Or even Mark Zuckerberg with Libra saying, hey, you should use my coin in my monetary system. They are a private company doing this. So, I mean, it's about time we stop treating them, even though their name says federal in it. They have nothing to do with the government except the fact that for some reason our government kowtows to them. But this is a private company. But the Federal Reserve Board Chairman Jerome Powell provided a response to U.S. Representatives French Hill and Bill Foster's request on whether the Federal Reserve plans to launch a national digital currency. Financial services reporter Zachary Warren Broad tweeted on November 20th. This story is on Cointelegraph. being reported by none other than Anna Alexandra, who does basically majority of the bigger stories out there. In this letter, Powell set forth the Federal Reserve's views on the creation of a CBDC, emphasizing that although the agency is not currently developing a CBDC, it has assessed and continues to evaluate the costs and benefits of such an initiative. All right, you are absolutely crazy if you don't think they are currently developing, or at least try to develop a CBDC. Again, about a year and a half ago, we started seeing the name come out, CBDCs. The first article we saw had it about 8 to 10 times. That's when we told you then. I mean, I specifically said they're going to try to create this. They're not just throwing out this buzzword for nothing. A year and a half later, it's back in the news. Well, what do we always say? You buy the rumor and you sell the news. If they're in the news right now talking about the possibility of creating one, that means they either have it or they've tried. Okay, that is the way business works. You don't come out and say, oh yeah, even though we're a multi-trillion-dollar organization, the Federal Reserve and the government, we haven't done no testing on this. We haven't tried to create it at all. We haven't done any of that. We're just going to report it to you all and give somebody else a head start to do it before us. It does not work like that, people. CBDCs, as it says here, raise a range of legal concerns. Powell was quoted as saying, if it is designed to be financially transparent and provide safeguards against illicit activity, a general purpose CBDC could conceivably require the Federal Reserve to keep running record of all payments data using the digital currency, and sometimes that raises issues related to data privacy and information security. Again, I mean, this whole statement, I mean, how many wrongs is in this statement? First of all, we haven't got an audit from the Federal Reserve in I don't know how long. For Americans that pay attention to it, we're worried because this is our entire monetary system and we haven't done an audit. I mean, really think about that. The IRS goes out and audit private individuals. Private citizens can get audited, yet the Federal Reserve for the entire government has not been audited in forever, people. When I mean years, when I say forever. So this is the holdup on the CBDC. The Federal Reserve has one. They know how to create one. They don't need to do any more research, okay? The real holdup is that, okay, I mean, it's a double-edged sword for them. They're saying if we don't create one, then either Bitcoin wins out or Mark Zuckerberg or some other billionaire comes around and make a Libra or a Libra-like coin, right? The flip side of it is they already know this. They're like, but if we do create one, we won't be able to tell the American people we don't have an audit for them because they will know all we have to do is go online and print out a sheet or go online and make it accessible to everyone to at least see a read-only copy of the audit, as well as the data privacy and information security. This is supposed to be a public government. So what data privacy and information security are they talking about? Our social security numbers have already been stolen, if you remember, a year or so ago. 150 plus Americans' social security numbers been stolen. You can either get back $120 or you can get 10 years of security monitoring. But the data privacy is already out the window, people. I mean, you got Wells Fargo hacked, NSA hacked, JP Morgan hacked, social security numbers hacked, Equifax hacked. It's so many hacks. Your data is already gone. So they're saying this. What they really mean by this is that running record of all payments data using the digital currency, they know the double-edged sword is that if we go ahead and launch this thing, while it will keep us as the #1 spot in monetary funding across the entire globe, this whole monopoly we have as a private company, we would now actually have to show people how much we have and how we're doing business. So, I mean, that response was a bunch of crap to me. And the representative's response to the letter, Representative Hill expressed enthusiasm that the Federal Reserve is exploring whether there is a point to issuing a CBDC. Quote, this decision would have far-reaching implications on every aspect of America's monetary policy and requires a deep level of analysis to ensure proper implementation. Like I always tell people, if you want to know who's behind everything, follow the money. The Federal Reserve, which gives our government and every government around the world basically money, is a private company. Who owns the Federal Reserve, people? Do you know the CEO names? Do you know the board member names? Do you know the initial investor names? So again, this comes as no surprise that CBDCs are on their way. Again, if it's in the news, they've already explored it. They already know how to create one. I mean, really think about it. You think Mark Zuckerberg and Gemini and all these people figured out how to create stable coins and their own CBDCs basically, but the government didn't figure out how to create it, or the Federal Reserve didn't figure out how to create it? They have it, people. It's that double-edged sword I just mentioned. But if you want, you can go to Zachary Warrenbroug's Twitter at Zachary, Zachary, and he has the actual paperwork from when Powell actually talked to Congress and some of the other things that went on with this story. But again, CBDCs, they're already here, people. They want to launch it, but they know if they do launch it, then we'll actually have an opportunity to audit the Federal Reserve. This same Federal Reserve, by the way, that just printed like $270 billion like 4 weeks ago. Could you imagine if they launched a CBDC? Imagine, for example, Bitcoin. All of a sudden, tomorrow morning you wake up and we say, you know what? We know we said there was only going to be a certain number of Bitcoin made, but we decided to go ahead and push out another 275 billion Bitcoin. It would crash the price overnight. It will be a dead project. No one will be interested. So imagine a CBDC ran by the Federal Reserve, backed by the United States government and their military and police prowess. Imagine them having their own central bank digital currency that the entire world, or the United States at the very least, must use legally. And then overnight they say, okay, we know we told you all will only be 1 million of these CBDCs, but we're actually going to print out another 275 million or billion more. It would crash. And that's why they don't actually want to launch it, because these things will start making sense to that average person out there who doesn't really understand monetary and fiscal policies or how money even works at its basics. So very interesting story there for sure. What is going on? Everybody's in the comment section. All right, I guess I do need to start going earlier. Tony Nolly, what's going on? Shadow Fresh, what's up? Said I bet that was the meeting 45 just had with Mnuchin and Powell. If he did, if the president did just have a meeting with Powell, yeah, it probably was. I mean, more than likely, definitely. Shannon Allen said more people need to know and understand that the company is really private. Exactly. Let's see. X Spence RX, what's going on? Gervais Wright, good morning. Insert XRP fanboy comment on how the government will use it in their digital currency. Right, we'll see how that goes. Shannon Allen said they lose major trillions randomly every day. What's going on? Donald Muhammad. Shadow Fresh said China has them spooked. Let's see. A U.S. Shadow Fresh also said United States CBDC is actually good for Bitcoin. That's when they will accept Bitcoin as a reserve. That's a great point. That is a great point. I can actually see that happening. I can see us, because you remember the whole game of the United States when it comes to our fiscal policy is derivatives on top of derivatives, people. It's debt on top of debt. It's loans on top of loans. Again, the Federal Reserve is a private company who creates fake money out of thin air that everyone believes in. So why not loan it out, right? Why not create derivatives of it to make more money, or create something and get something back of real value? So I'm with you. I think if a US CBDC is launched, Bitcoin would become a reserve, but we'll see the same thing happen with gold as we do the same with Bitcoin reserve. I mean, maybe 60 years down the line, 70 years down the line. Again, the government works in tandem. I keep telling people it doesn't matter if you like President Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton. They're all government presidents. They all go in the office and they're given a binder, basically a passed down binder. And it says, this is what the people previously you have actually been working on behind closed doors. And this is what you will continue to work on behind closed doors as well. Or we'll just say you're violating national security and we'll throw you in prison. So that's how that works. But my point is, if we have a CBDC, it's backed by Bitcoin, 60 years down the line, there will be a president to say, we don't need to be backed by Bitcoin anymore. We can just use our CBDC. The same thing we did with gold, which is why the dollar is no longer backed by gold. So I think that will happen as well. But I also think they'll get rid of it as soon as possible. So we'll see what happens. Another news, Gatehub crypto wallet data breach compromises passwords of 1.4 million users. That is right. There has been another huge data breach. A security researcher behind the data breach index site, Have I Been Owned or Pawned, basically PWNED, said that a password data and personal information of 2.2 million users of 2 websites have been dumped online. That is right. It's already been dumped. So if you're a member of any of these sites I'm about to name, make sure you change those accounts immediately. On November 19th, Ars Technica reported that security researcher Troy Hunt confirmed that the compromised data belonged to accounts of cryptocurrency wallet Gatehub and RuneScape bot provider Epic Bot. According to Hunt, the first haul included personal information for as many as 1.4 million users across accounts from Gatehub cryptocurrency wallet. That is a lot of users. The second contained data for about 800,000 users, accounts on the self-proclaimed world's safest all-in-one RuneScape bot provider, Epic Bot. The stolen information reportedly includes registered email addresses, passwords, two-factor authentication keys, mnemonic phrases, and wallet hashes. Gatehub officials said that the wallet hashes were not accessed according to what an investigation has suggested. All right, at this point, we don't need any suggestions from investigations. We need definite. So if it's a suggestion right now, I'm going to suggest that they've been already accessed. It's not the first time Gatehub had endured a data breach, as you see in this article. Again, this is Coin Telegraph. In June, hackers were reportedly able to compromise around 100 XRP ledger wallets, which resulted in nearly $10 million in stolen funds. So that's 2 big hacks from Gatehub in 1 year. That's it. It's time. I mean, hey, you guys had a run. That is it. That's 2 big hacks in 1 year. I'm assuming you're going to change your name next year or something. But this is crazy, people. Hopefully the people who do use these services, you're not keeping everything in one place. You're not keeping your password, two-factor authentication, mnemonic phrases all in one place. But this is something, you have to be leery of, especially when it comes to these wallet providers saying we're the safest wallet and we all have this. Or when it comes to, speaking of the Runscape bot provider, or even the Gatehub crypto wallet. There's a reason why some of the wallets we throw out there, even including paper wallets or open dimes, or the one that we keep saying we use on the desktop. I can't even think of the name right now, but we try to use alternative wallets that aren't online all the time or aren't managed by a third party, because these things happen. So it's very unfortunate, but definitely wanted to mention this story just in case you're using any of these services. Make sure you get off of them ASAP and to check your accounts ASAP to make sure you haven't already been affected by these. So hopefully this isn't going to continue. We know these hacks are getting crazy. I mean, this article even talks about it, as hackers basically are going to keep getting more and more creative. And even with some of the news stories we have today, I mean, we'll talk about the hacking exploits and opportunities there, but make sure to keep your crypto safe, folks. Cryptocurrency forensics firm Elliptic ties $400 million in XRP to illicit activities. That is right. In a press release published on November 20th, the firm indicated that the $400 million of illicit activity identified by Elliptic represents less than 0.2% of total XRP transactions, demonstrating that the vast majority of activity is legitimate. I mean, actually give a hand clap for that. We need to definitely give a hand clap for that. Now, Ripple is whack because one of their spokespeople did come out and say it's still less than Bitcoin, which is, I mean, hey, like, what are you doing? We're talking about you right now. We're not talking about your neighbor, right? But in general, these are important numbers. When you're talking about $400 million worth of XRP, but that's less than 0.2% of all, less than 0.2%, people, not even 2%, less than 0.2%, so less than 1%, it's such a small number that represents the total transactions. That means they're doing something right. Elliptic began analyzing XRP over a year ago and has identified that several hundred XRP accounts are related to illegal activity, from thefts to the sale of credit cards. The release further reads, commenting on the findings, Tim Robinson, chief scientist and co-founder of Elliptic, said, quote, as criminal use of crypto assets such as XRP evolves, we are committed to shining a light on this illicit activity, giving financial institutions the confidence they need to engage with the crypto ecosystem. XRP is increasing traction in the APAC region among financial institutions and banks. Now, you may be asking yourself, why am I bringing up this story? Is it the Bash, XRP, the Ripple? No, none of that stuff. I'm bringing up this story to illustrate a very important point, that for all the task forces, which I keep talking about every day now since they keep popping up every day, for the task forces, for the IRS, for all these government agencies and regulators going after illicit crypto use, which again, I believe is still under 1% of all cryptocurrency uses being used as illicit. So it still makes no sense to even target this market. But even if you wanted to go after it, you want to go after the people who are using Bitcoin for illicit things, now Ripple, whatever, this is why it's impossible to actually do. You cannot do it because anyone can create a cryptocurrency. If you give me 20 minutes right now, I can go online and create a new cryptocurrency. And if I get enough people to start sending and receiving money through it, we can use that as a mixer basically. I can create a private one, okay? That is how easy it is to create some of these cryptocurrencies, people, especially now So most of them are open source. You can literally just cut, copy, and paste. I mean, there's crypto builder websites where you just kind of can finesse your own little code here and there, but for the most part, it's already built for you. But anybody can build it, and that's why we saw the explosion of cryptocurrencies in 2017. I mean, at the beginning of 2017, there might have been maybe 500 different cryptos on a high end. By the end of 2017, I mean, we probably had about 2,000 different cryptos, right? That's because anybody can create one. So articles like this, or forensic teams going after this cryptocurrency for this, it's going to be a game of whack-a-mole until the next big technological swing comes, because anybody can create them. And now that they actually have private-oriented cryptocurrencies like Cryptocoin, like Monero, like Zcash, with these privacy-oriented cryptocurrencies, you can't even track them. So again, you're beating on a dead horse here. It's going to be a game of whack-a-mole, and it's something I do not want my tax money going to, because it just doesn't work. 1 minute it was Bitcoin, now it's Ripple. Give it another 6 months, we'll see which is the next coin that's being used for all the illicit activity. The point is, criminals are going to be criminals, okay? Like, they're not going to stop committing crimes. That's what they do. So we need to figure out more innovative ways to stop them, but just going after blanket cryptocurrencies will not be the way, as we see here, because they'll just switch. They'll literally just switch. Checking out some of these comments real quick. Let's see. Shannon Allen is saying, thanks, Donald. Hope you sent a use case in the comments so we can send you some cryptic. I only saw one person's cryptic address. I have to check again. Yep, Shannon, I think I saw maybe 2 or 3 addresses. I know Donald Cooper sent one. I think I might have saw one more as well. Shadow Fresh was going on. Oh, we talked about that one already. Spence RX said a surveillance state launching a government-backed crypto is so far from the ideal of crypto, tracking payments, etc. Terrible ideal. Listen, again, it's a double-edged sword. If a government launches, or if any type of surveillance state launches a government-backed crypto like here in the United States, it will actually be good for us private citizens if we actually enforce the audit. If we say we want transparency, you must give us transparency or we're not playing by your system. I think it can work well, but will Americans actually do that? Highly doubt, right? Highly doubt. Let's see, what else we have? Let's see, that's Cryptocoin. Spence said eventually the entire stock market will be tokenized. Hopefully it will run 24/7. Will be extremely liquid and will show people how to buy portions of shares in the future. Again, it's crazy we had to wait this long to do it. But that's why no one wants to listen. And again, when I say old, I mean a mind state, not necessarily age. But no one wants to hear the old guy in the room or the old girl in the room, right? When you talk about Wall Street, Warren Buffett, and some of these people, like, you have had a grasp on the monetary system for how many years, and you all never thought to make it 24/7 and fractionalize it? Like, like, this is my point. They aren't that smart. Like, a lot of these people, these Wall Street folks, like, they've been put in good situations, or their families were put in good situations from 100 years ago. They are not that smart. I mean, because even today, the stock market isn't 24/7 a day. They still haven't figured that out. Whereas if you make it 24/7, there will be even more money. Like, the casino never closes for a reason, people. Whenever you went to Las Vegas and they say, well, no, this casino is closed right now, it's always open for a reason. So again, it goes to show that they're not that smart. They haven't tokenized things yet because they don't understand the technology. And the market's not even 24/7. Like, I don't know. What if I wake up at 8 p.m. saying, hey, I got $3 million. I want to do some trading. And you're telling me the market's closed. Not smart, not smart. That's all I'm saying. All right, next story up. ShapeShift launches exchange token Fox for commission-free trading. That's right, Eric Voorhees right there. Look at him, a man about his money. ShapeShift is launching his own token Fox, doubling down on exchange attempts to further decentralize cryptocurrency trading. The decentralized part is definitely a talking point. We'll get into that, but ShapeShift released the token akin to Binance's BNB on Wednesday, enabling commission-free trading with zero fees between cryptocurrencies. All platform users who sign up get 100 Fox tokens automatically, which, if held, never expire and provide $10 worth of free trading volume per token on a rolling 30-day basis. They're being quoted as saying, we've obviously been thinking about doing a token ever since 2017, and we wanted to wade into it very slowly and carefully, said founder and CEO Eric Voorhees in an in-person interview Tuesday. We've been kind of evolving our concept of what our coin is going to be over the last 2.5 years. Now, I will say this. Eric Voorhees, of course, OG in the crypto space. He's been around for a long time. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't think he was on the New York agreement. I really hope not, but it actually wouldn't surprise me with ShapeShift. But either way, I'm not going to talk about it because I don't know for sure. But what I will say about ShapeShift is this. They are a good company. And we've actually suggested their wallet to many people. They have a mobile wallet, their ShapeShift wallet. We told a lot of people to download it a few years ago actually. I still have it on my phone. I do occasionally use it, but not as much. The positives of ShapeShift is yes, it does work very well. When Bcash launched and Roger Ver and some of his sock puppets were allegedly trying to basically slow down the network, the Bitcoin network, by spamming it with small little transactions, ShapeShift was actually still working very fast. Now, here's a double-edged sword on ShapeShift here. Eric Voorhees, this is the decentralized part. It's not decentralized. It's Eric Voorhees, as it says, is the CEO. He owns it. It's a very good businessman. And even when the network was clogged, while ShapeShift was working, the fees were outrageous. If you use ShapeShift, you will be paying higher fees than normal, okay? I mean, it is what it is. Eric wants his piece of the pie. I understand it. However, on the flip side, when it comes to actually being in the industry, which he is, I mean, a person, a part of the community who stays up to date with what's going on, when you talk about cross-atomic swaps, when you talk about cross-atomic swaps, which is what enables you to trade in-app, ShapeShift was some of the first people who had them. I remember testing it. And what I mean by that is, for those who don't know, if you don't want to trade on exchange, of course, you can trade in wallets. Those are called cross-atomic swaps, where I can take my Bitcoin and trade it for Ripple, take my Ripple and trade it for Bitbean, and take my Bitbean and trade it for Dogecoin, and take that and trade it for EOS, right? Those are all called cross-atomic swaps. That's a technical term. ShapeShift were one of the first people who actually implemented it in their wallet. I remembered it because I started actually trading in their wallet just to test it out, saying, hey, can I get off an exchange once I've onboarded my money and just use wallets like this to trade? At the time, those fees were very high. I haven't tried it since then. I think it was a couple of years ago. But with that being said, I mean, I think this is a great news story from it. It's definitely a base hit. We see Binance's BNB token work. It worked very well. I even know, I mentioned this before, I know some traders at the time when the bear market actually initially started, they kind of called it, and they moved a lot of their Bitcoin over to BNB coin, and they did very well with that. The price of the BNB coin didn't drop as fast as Bitcoin. In fact, I think it may have still been slowly going up because it was still new and novel. So I think ShapeShift Fox is a good idea too. Again, it's an established company. The wallet works. People use it. Eric Voorhees is a very astute businessman. And this could be an opportunity where, hey, just like the BNB coin, this thing is not worth a lot now. It's only being used for commission-free trading, which is a big deal because, as I mentioned, those cross-atomic swaps were costing a fortune within his app. So if I can just use this Fox token and do those same type of trades, then there's no more reasons to go on Gemini. There's no reason to go on Bittrex or BitMEX and some of these other exchanges, with the exception of margin trading. So shout out to ShapeShift. Like I said, they have been doing a good job. They are a little bit steeper in price than others, but that's because I believe they know they're doing a good job. It's one of those things where, like, we know our product's pretty good. We have security. We have a person who's been here almost since day one, so we're going to charge you for it. I get it, but shout out to them. And again, this is another base hit for cryptocurrency users, because now, again, is after you onboard your money, which you don't have to do through exchange, you can do it through your peers. You can now trade in wallet on your phone. So cool story. Shout out to Eric Voorhees and ShapeShift. That team has been doing a lot of good stuff since they started. Here it is actually toward the end where he's talking about the exchange. ShapeShift's goal, Voorhees wrote in a blog post published Wednesday, quote, is to make self-custody a seamless and enjoyable experience, because this will help the world move toward self-sovereign finance and away from fiat. He said the exchange has more liquidity than other self-custody options like decentralized exchanges or swap services. And while total trade volume decreased on the platform since the implementation of KYC, I didn't know that happened either. There you go. Liquidity has increased over the same period by 10x on the exchange main pair, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and Voorhees said. So I didn't realize they added to know your customer. Of course, if you add that KYC AML, that trade volume would definitely decrease, because no one in crypto really wants that. But again, if you're okay with that, then this is the place for you. This is a good wallet. But again, if you got KYC people, you can't be decentralized. That's my point to you. He's not decentralized. It was a great talking point. I still support the project, but they know they're nowhere near decentralized. All right, a couple quick comments before I jump on this last story. Let's see. Oh, Spence said, I like the speed that you talk at, similar to me. Haha, get a lot of data fast. Yeah, when we have a lot of stories, I do try to speed up my speech only because I'm trying to get it all out within 30 minutes for you all, for sure. Cryptonomics said, Keep Key was the stuff because you could swap directly from the cold storage wallet back in the day, right? Then SS bought Keep Key, then all the KYC BS came in. ShapeShift Fox equals no difference than the Libra token. Wow. Great point, Cryptonomics. Cryptonomics said is ShapeShift Fox, is that no different than a Libra token? You want me to tell you what the difference between ShapeShift Fox and Libra token is? Is that ShapeShift only has a market share of probably about a few 100,000, maybe 1 million people, whereas Libra has 2 billion people. But you're right. It's essentially the exact same thing. You can say the same with BNB then. Cryptonomics said custody, is that the new term for baking? Yes, custody is the new term for baking. You're on fire right now. This is hilarious. Spence RX said BitMEX is a sham that I doubt will be around much longer. They have an insider trading desk while also having the data on everyone's stock prices and liquidation prices. True criminals. Now, of course, that's alleged, Spence. And I mean, if you're going to say that, which I won't say probably is untrue, you have to throw Bittrex in there. You must throw Coinbase in there. Only reason I might not throw Gemini in there is because they're already wealthy, like wealthy. But no, I agree with you. At the very least, you have to throw Coinbase in there. I mean, we saw what they did with Bcash and the whole Ripple deal, right? But you're right. That's the thing with some of these companies. Right now, they're still the Wild West. There's not a lot of rules. And you know what? I'm not even mad at them for doing it because banks are doing it. I mean, think about the 2008 housing crisis where a lot of people lost money, but a lot of banks made a lot of money. They did the exact same thing. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things to pay attention to. All right. And last but not least, this was a great news story too. I'm actually going to try this game when I get a chance. Online gaming platform lets gamers collect Bitcoin in first-person shooter game. Now, of course, no one's actually collecting Bitcoin. They're collecting Satoshis. So that's, of course, less than a penny. But it's still cool nonetheless. Donner Lab, an online gaming platform that builds Lightning games and applications, lets gamers hunt for Bitcoin and pick up Satoshi cubes. You can shoot other players and collect Satoshis. In a tweet on November 19, Donner Lab announced the launch of his latest project titled Bitcoin Bounty Hunt, a fully Lightning native multiplayer first-person shooter game, FPS game. The Lightning Network is a payment protocol that allows for fast micropayments between two so-called nodes, in this case, gamers. Donner Labs was founded by, let me give him a hand clap. Donner Labs was founded by 25-year-old Konstantin Nick. I might be saying that wrong, so excuse me, Nick. I feel like his last name should be, or his first name should be his last name, but whatever. Konstantin Nick, after the 2018 Lightning Hack Day in Munich, Germany, as a means to introduce the world's largest cryptocurrency to more people. The first-person shooter game features an integrated neutrino wallet where gamers can store coins in a non-custodial fashion and add space for hold auctions, and of course the ability to kill off other players in order to collect bounties. Wow. This is what we're talking about. Gamers, the porn industry, and criminals. That is who uses and adopts, that's who adopts and uses technology first usually. Gamers, porn industry, criminals. It just is what it is, people. So actually criminals using Ripple is actually a good thing for the space. But this is a great story. For those who don't know, I used to be a huge gamer back in the day until basically I got too busy for it with, football and then life in the military. But the last couple of years, I've actually went back to gaming. I don't get to play as much as I like, but I do try to play occasionally. And I love FPSs. I love first-person shooters. They're fun games to me. So when I saw this, my ears literally went up. I was like, all right, let me check this out. Here's the Twitter and some of the video of the actual game here, as you can see. I mean, a real shoot 'em up game where you get rewarded in Satoshis. I think this is super cool. My only thing about it is, first, of course, they have to make sure the security is on par because, as I mentioned when it came to the hacks earlier, somebody's definitely going to try to exploit this. If you got a game where Bitcoin is getting traded around, someone's going to try to exploit it. Luckily, they're only fighting for sat bounties, as you can see here, Satoshi, so it's less than a penny. So hopefully it doesn't attract too many wolves early on. But regardless, I mean, this was cool. This is seriously cool to see. Teaches you about crypto, which in turn teaches you about money, and you can actually play a game. You can see here the bounty's 400 sats and some change. The earnings, someone has 70 sats. Very basic FPS game right now, but if you ever played Crunker.io online, to me it kind of reminds me of Crunker. So you can play the same type of shoot 'em ups online and get paid in crypto or lose crypto if you're not good. So very interesting game. I thought it was pretty cool to see Bitcoin bounty hunt. I'm about to jump on this thing here soon. I don't know. I might go off on a deep end on it this weekend and come back next week a very wealthy cryptocurrency millionaire. So we'll see what happens. But again, this is amazing. And this was started by 25-year-old Konstantin Nick after the 2018 Lightning Hack Day in Munich, Germany. Wow. Wow, people. This is it. This is it. This is the future. We are in it. Other than that, that is the show for today. Let me take a quick peek at a couple of last comments here. Let's see. Cryptonomics said we can still buy Bitcoin anonymously. We just need to know the outlets. The best outlet to buy anonymously, again, is peer-to-peer if you can, people. Let's see. And last one. Cryptonomics said Fidelity just launched so-called custody, but I called them today and they had no clue what Bitcoin was. LOL. Of course, like people, these are all just headlines. Just headlines. They can establish your narrative. So in another year or two, when they actually launch their real programs, they can say we've been here since the beginning. And last but not least, Don Muhammad said excellent reporting with several videos from the week-long expo in Shanghai on the future of blockchain and crypto. Nice. Okay, I can't wait to hear more about that as well. Other than that, that is the show for today. As always, thank you for watching, people. Make sure you smash that like and share button. And we will see you all tomorrow with some more crypto news. Cheers.